Hi, I'm Nancy Gachunji. Welcome to The Connect, and this is my story.
Amazing, 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 amazing. Thank you so much, Nancy. Thank you for making the time. I think this is one of the topic I've really been looking to discuss because if you look at the biggest choices of careers, actually a lot of people choose nursing to come to Australia. So we just want to understand, what is this thing that is called nursing? Why are people running to nursing? Is it all worth it? What can it do for you in Australia? So thank you so much for making that time. And we just want to get a bit of a background. So maybe a bit of an introduction. Who's Nancy? Just introduce yourself to the audiences, at least to get to know you.
Thank you so much, Peter, for inviting me to The Connect. A bit about myself. My name is Nancy, as I said before. I'm a nurse. I've been here for about 10 years now. And it's funny that you mentioned whether I studied in Kenya, because I didn't. Back in Kenya, I was a teacher.
Oh, wow.
I was a school teacher. So, and coming to Australia for nursing was actually by accident. I didn't choose nursing at first. Nursing chose me.
Oh, wow.
So it is an interesting story, but thinking about it, I never thought about becoming a nurse when I was being a mom in Kenya and being a teacher. And the opportunity came about from a friend who was going to Canberra. And she came to my workplace where I used to own a school back in Kenya. And she came and showed me this opportunity. You know, when we were back in Kenya, we would see in the newspapers, come and study in Australia, come and study in Aussie opportunities. And she just told me, my cousin has been in Australia for over 10 years and she's been doing very well. And she told me, I just want to try and see what kind of opportunities are out there for people like me. And I told her, I'm not sure about this Australia business, but let's try together. So we did apply, and lucky enough, I got a chance to come to Australia, but she didn't get the chance.
Oh, wow. So to start the journey, did you now, back a bit of a background, you were actually a school teacher and having to transition, did you apply for a degree, or how was that transitioning looking? What level did you come to study in Australia?
When I came, because I didn't have much information, I was informed by a friend of mine to apply a diploma. But looking at the grades that I had back from home, I would have applied for a straight away bachelor's, but I did not. So, and what I would advise a lot of people is maybe to do a bit of more research before you apply for courses. It might look like an easier way, but for me, it has taken a lot of years to finish my studies here. So I did come through the diploma pathway, and then after the diploma, which I did for 18 months, I went straight away to my bachelor's degree.
Wow, wow. Now let's talk now about nursing now.
Yes.
So for you to study nursing, what are some of maybe the prerequisites? So what is required? Maybe you started with a diploma, right?
Yes.
I know English is part of it and a bit. What really is required for you to come and study nursing in Australia?
When I started, I thought they would need, for me to have done biology, but I didn't do biology. I did 2 sciences, which involved doing physics and chemistry, and mathematics as well. So they looked at the overall grade, which I had from, back in high school. And then they looked, because I had left uni a while back, about more than 10 years. So they wanted to know if you've done any recent study after, your high school diploma, which I had, and which helped me a lot. Because if you have a very big gap between your last year of study and when you're applying to come to Australia, it becomes of a big problem, which needs you maybe to study something else in Kenya before applying to come to Australia. So having done finished my primary teaching in Kenya as a teacher in 2009, I was applying in 2014, which was showed that I was actively involved in the course that I had done in Kenya and allowed me to actually do come here as a student.
Amazing. And back then, was it the English, the part, because I know English is a big part of nursing.
Yes.
Was it as high as it is now? Because I hear for you to get into maybe bachelor's, you have to have a 7. I'm not too sure, but was it as high? What were the requirements then for English for you to study nursing?
The requirements then were 6.5. So with a minimum of 6.5 in every band, you would get into nursing, that was in the diploma level, which a lot of students did get into. And once you come here, you had to maintain that English study, which was being renewed every year. I'm happy for students now. They're being given a bit of a leeway. It's 3 years. So it was quite good, and we did. You put the work into it, and you get the band that is required.
Amazing. And so before we come to studying in Australia, did you, now deciding to do this course, did you do a bit of research what it entails to actually do nursing and to become a nurse? Did you do, because you're coming from a different field?
Yes.
Did you do a bit of background? What is nursing? What does it entail? Did you do a research? Because I want people to understand that before you jump into a course, it's very important to do your research. Did you do your research at that time?
I did my research. And the other thing that helped me is because I had family here. So with my family and having a family member who was in nursing, I did ask a lot of questions. Because for me, I'm very scared of, seeing blood. I was before, but now I'm not. But I was like, oh my God, I don't know how I'll deal with, seeing people, people who are coming from accidents and things like that. How am I going to cope? So I had to deal with my mental well-being first and know how I would cope. And a bit of, if I can go back a little bit, when I finished my KCSE, I did try to get into nursing back in Kenya. But when I went for the orientation day, we went to the kind of a morgue walk, and I left. I said, no, this is not me. I can't do this. My husband is actually amazed that these days I'm able, to deal with anything that comes. I can work in an emergency ward without, separating the emotions from it and doing the job that I'm needed to do. And I'm quite passionate about it. So
we'll come to that, just to understand how you actually got yourself there.
Yes.
But now let's talk about studies. You arrive in Australia, and a lot of people get into Australia, and then you realize, whoa, is this what I came to? So for studying nursing, is it, because I'll ask the question, is it easy? Is it easy to study nursing?
It's not. It's not easy to study nursing. I know people say you can juggle between work and study and a lot of that, but if you don't put in the time and the work into it, definitely you fail. I remember I used to stay up until midnight, or wake up at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock to study, or to drive up to uni so that I can be the first one in school, do the work, do the group works, be there and show that you are actually involved and 100% are going to perform. So it involves a lot of work. I had to adhere to the visa restrictions. I had to study and pass so that I don't get in trouble. And it was very hard. It was difficult. I would cry sometimes, and I would still wake up and study more, because that's what is needed. So it's not easy.
The reason why I ask that is because a lot of students actually choose nursing, and it's good to know, how do you now, what mindset do you, now you talked about so many things, waking up, doing this, crying at night. What kind of mindset should you have when you're coming to study nursing? Because there's a lot of challenges. We're gonna talk about challenges a bit, but what mindset should a student have when you're coming to study nursing?
If you want to study nursing, you need to know that you're dealing with people's lives. So you can't, fake it. If you know you're going to hold someone's baby, you're going to hold someone's, somebody's going to come with a broken leg, come with a very big wound that is, gaping, and you have to treat that person. You have to remember these are people's lives, and you can't play around with people's lives. If you're not ready to do it, it's better for you to do a course that is, safe for you and that is making you, happy. You don't want to wake up and go to a job that is depressing you. You want to be excited about, saving someone's life, and you want to be ready for that. So I really had to ask myself, is this what I want to do? And when I said the answer was yes, I put myself 100% into it, And that's how I've been able to excel in nursing.
Amazing. Let's talk about now a bit more challenges of a student. Anyway, it's across board. You know, you're trying to balance to make some money here, to go to school. But as a nursing student, because you talked about studies being the paramount, how did you now overcome such challenge? How did you balance your work life and life balance? Because if you're saying your studies take the biggest chunk of your time, how did you do it? How did you finish your studies?
A bit of a background. I came as a mature student. It didn't matter whether I was in my 30s, early 30s. They would term me as a mature student. And being a mature student, I didn't have a sponsor or a parent back home who'd send us, school fees. I came here with my husband, having, sold a piece of land or whatever investment that we had back at home, paid that school fees. And then we've got more studies coming up, which is a lot of money involved. And we had to put the time into it, the time to work. We had to put the time to go to study. And a lot of times why it became very hard was I have to work those 20 hours that I was given, and I have to balance my study, which I would have, I would have assignments that are due, and I have to submit them on time. So work and study, people think it's very easy, but it's not easy. You have actually to sacrifice a lot of your sleep time, a lot of comforts. You can't be going for parties, and you can't be going to, people's homes just to sit around when you should be, that time that you're spending doing that, you can be earning a few dollars that can help pay for that fees. For me, I went to Ballarat, which was an option that was the last option because all the unis by the time I applied had filled up. So the only place I wanted, the uni that I wanted to go to, which was ACU, was in Ballarat. So imagine me going by train 2 hours every day in the morning, because I was taking a train to the city and another train to Ballarat and back. It was very hard. I had to wake up very early. I had to commit to it. I never was late for any class. If you're late, you cannot enter into that lecture hall because you are disrupting the whole class. If you fail, guess what? You're different. You're the black person in a white, community. So they all turn around and look at you. So you don't want to be the odd one out because of the bad things that you're doing in class. So I had to pass. I had to put the time into it, finish school, run back to, a shift in disability or some other shift. I had to cook samosas to get these fees. I had to cook for people. And I would sleep very little hours, 3 to 4 hours maximum, if I remember right, which I still do because, life happens. Yeah, so it's a lot of work and you have to commit to it as well.
The reason why I've spent a lot of time in what it entails for you to become a nurse, and I want us to paint a picture so that people, when they're choosing, because I want people to make very good decisions when you're choosing a course.
Yes.
So now you're studying, and then now you want to graduate and transition to become a nurse. So what are some of the things? And here I want you to mention about the placement, the hours you have to put in.
Yes.
So let's paint a picture for someone who's new and doesn't know what it entails to actually become an RN.
Yes.
So take us through, what is it required for you to become an RN, a registered nurse? And what does being a registered nurse mean? Because people think you come and study and you finish and you become a nurse.
Yes.
But there's a process to that. Now take us through from when you finish studies or when you're doing your studies to when you become an RN. What is the process in between there?
For someone who's done diploma, becoming a registered nurse, you have to do another 2 years of study, which the only rest that you have from it is doing aged care placement. And aged care placement would take 4 weeks. So if you want to become an RN, you have to go all through these placements. You have to do aged care placements, mental health. You have to do subacute, acute, and all these placements are taking you months and months, which is time that sometimes it will take time when you're meant to be working on holidays. I remember when I did my last placement, it almost took 3 months. No work. I was somewhere in the regional hospitals, and I was there for 3 months. Every day waking up, putting in the hours. You start at 7, finish at 5 sometimes, if because if I remember, I was in a surgical ward. So I would stay until 5 o'clock. Remember, you're not being paid a single shilling, and you're still paying for accommodation, you're paying for your food, and you're paying for the transport as well. So for you to become an RN, you have to put the work, you have to be under somebody, you have to be mentored by another nurse, and these nurses had to pass you as well. So they would write a report and say, Nancy is a very good nurse. She's you know, she knows the whatever she's doing in the hospital. She's able to, diagnose. She's able to treat someone. She's able to follow up with the pre-op or post-op, all those things. She's able to do that quite effectively and efficiently. So they still have to say you're actually safe to become an RN. So it all depends also on the people that you are working under. If they give a bad report, guess what? You're not going to be passed. You will repeat that placement again and again and again until they are sure that you're not going, to kill someone out there. For you to be a registered nurse, you have, at the time that I was getting registered, was a band of 7. And it has to be 7 in every component, in whether you're doing IELTS or PT or you're doing the nurses one. Every band has to be 7. So you cannot fail in one thing and expect that will get you registration. I know a lot of nurses who've been, passed as nurses, but they've never been registered because they've never gotten that band of 7 on each component of English. We come from a country where we speak English since we are young. That's the language of instruction. But that doesn't matter. You'll be surprised the hours that we do is maybe class 4 English. But the way it's set up, we fail a lot. I'm not sure what kind of or the backing scheme that's behind there. But sometimes you fail and you wonder, I thought I had aced in that one. But you find that's the one thing that you failed. And sometimes we spend a lot of money redoing this English test up to 5-6 times. It's not easy, and people spend a lot of money. 400 to 350 is not little money to spend on one test. But I would advise the student out there, maybe practice a lot more before you get near to your registration. And by that time, you'll be so good, or get even a tutor. You'll be so good that you'll be ready for that English, and then you don't have to use so much money to redo this English. But anyway, at the end of the day, you still have to do it. Whether you do it 1 time, 10 times, you still have to pass and become registered.
Amazing. Yeah. And what is the registration body called? Is it APRA?
It is APRA.
So if anyone wants all the information, just go on the APRA website. I'm sure they're going to give you all the information.
Yes.
Now let's talk about your career now.
Yes.
Now you've done all that, you've become registered. How did you even go about getting a job? We want to talk to people who are finishing uni now. Now let's talk about your story. How did you now get yourself to getting a job in Australia?
When I came, I got a job as I did a certificate 3 in aged care, which got me a job in aged care setup. And I worked in aged care before I graduated as an EN or an RN. So I placed myself in different job opportunities that I could get in different facilities. I stayed there and I asked for those opportunities. So every time I finished a course, I would ask them, are you happy to employ me as a registered nurse or a diploma nurse student, just to get the experience? So you have to be willing to put yourself out there. And if you know that you're aligning yourself to do a nursing career, you need to look for jobs in those fields. If you, for example, if I'm a nurse, I don't want to go and look for jobs in plumbing. At the end of the day, I'm not going to be a plumber. I want to experience and practice in that field. So by the time I became a registered nurse, I had so much confidence because I was seeing all the, I was interacting with sick people. I was doing hospital jobs. I was working there as a carer. I was working there as an aide and assistant, just helping, even mobilizing people who are coming from theater. So it gave me a chance to talk even to the people who are already in that office. So I remember my last job before I graduated, I did approach my manager and I said, I'm going to be a registered nurse in the next 1 month. Are you happy to recommend me for a job in this place or in another place if you don't have a vacancy? And she did say yes. So my first job, I was actually sent to Modialok in one of the aged cares, which I'm not going to mention the name because I'm still part of them.
Yeah.
And it was quite hard because I was driving almost 2 hours to come to that job, but I did do it because I wanted to have a name behind my nursing career. I did put the work into it. I took the challenge, and I can promise you it wasn't easy. I was having tummy aches every morning when I was going to that work.
So when you say, let's talk about how you put yourself, because I like how you're putting yourself in places where you're getting opportunities.
Yes.
But it's something else to actually work hard and
Yes.
get recognized.
Yes.
So what are some of those things you used to do when you're actually working, and maybe can help someone out there that actually, got you noticed and got you growing in this career? And then we're gonna continue from there.
For one, I like packaging myself as a part of, if I'm going for an interview, I'll go to that interview as a package, knowing what the interview requires of me. So all along, since I came to Australia, if I went into a job, I did it so well that the people who are there, I don't need to speak for myself. They would notice of how I work through my work ethics. So I would always, do the job that I'm supposed to do very well on time and be accountable for them. Whether it meant documentation, whether it meant, my job description, what I've been told to do. Is it a shower? How many people am I supposed to shower? Is my boss getting complaints about me? I would make sure there was nothing that would be reported that Nancy didn't do this, Nancy was arguing so and so, Nancy was doing the other. So I think it's good that when you go to a job, you do what is within your job description and know what is required of you and try to, better yourself. Just imagine you're being put in a platform where other people who are very competent as you are also trying to, put themselves in front. So you can imagine being Australia, you're competing with people from other nationalities. For me to be noticed, you have to do the extra mile. So, being a Kenyan and being a black Kenyan, I need to be good and good enough. So my bosses would always say, oh, Nancy is getting an award for being the most kind, empathetic, or the most, diligent person. I'm being there. I want to be noticed because I want to go somewhere. So if you want to progress, you have to put yourself out there and put yourself in the best way, not in the negative way. So if they don't want red hair or orange hair, you're not going to see me at work with those kinds of hairs because I want to fit in my job description. I don't want to be noticed for the wrong reasons. I want to be noticed for the right reasons and for me to advance. I know where I'm going, and that's what I would advise people. Know where you're going and where you're targeting to go and aspire for that. You don't have to be like everybody else, but you can package yourself so well that you'll be noticed for the right reasons.
Amazing. As a nurse now, let's talk about personal development before we get to see where you've, your transition and what levels did you grow in your nursing career. But for personal development, is there something that you need to do as a nurse so that you are well equipped when you're handling the patients or when you're doing your job? Is there things that you would recommend that someone to do? As you've seen,
yes,
since you started working, there's things you need to work. It's not really recommended, but you put yourself out there to do so that you actually become better at your job. Are there some personal development that you can recommend for someone to actually go out there and do?
Yes, there's a lot of information for nurses online. And for example, when you graduated as a nurse, you can be a general nurse or you can specialize in something. If it doesn't mean when you specialize that you cannot better yourself in other fields. And for me, every year I try to do different things that can make me get asked for in a job rather than another person. For example, if you're good, you can be good at taking bloods. Not everybody is comfortable taking bloods. Not everybody is good at doing catheters. Not everybody is good at working in ICU, you can do these courses outside your normal nursing career, which will make you stand out as well. So when they're looking for somebody who does palliation, you have done a course in palliation. That will make you stand out above somebody who has just done just general nursing. So every year I try to do, a learning that is going to equip me better than another nurse who's just come out of uni the other day and has no special skills, which makes you, stand out.
Amazing.
So it's good to continue studying. Yeah.
So now you've gotten noticed. You're doing all these courses, personal development. So maybe give us, a timeline in your career, how you started and where you've ended up going and where you are currently doing. Maybe you started as just a floor nurse. You grew to I don't know. Just give us a bit of a history of maybe how you've grown in your career.
I would like to say that I started as a PCA. So being a personal care assistant means you work with the aged care people or the disability, and I was able to start there, doing the showers, caring for them, giving medications and things like that. So by the time I became a nurse, I was quite comfortable in dealing with people and in dealing with situations that were clinical. So when I finished my uni, I became a floor nurse, but I was put in charge of a 97-bed home, which was quite challenging. The only saving grace was there was a CCC, which is a clinical care coordinator, whom you'd go and ask if you're in a dilemma. But I was in this position for about 6 months because I needed to see how I would cope, and I did quite well. And lucky, or my God is good, I became a grade 5 nurse as a first year graduate. So I was given the opportunity now to be in charge of a home when I was a new graduate because I proved that I could do it.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. And just for someone who's looking at you today and just wondering, how can you grow from a PCA, do the registration, become a registered nurse, become an in charge?
Yes.
What is the one thing that actually kept you going and helped you grow? Just one thing to where you actually are now.
One thing that has made me get where I am, I'm not saying I've reached where I want to go, but at least where I am at the moment, is being focused. It's knowing who I am and where I've come from. So I've remained focused, knowing my background as a person, and I've remained focused, knowing that I know how far and how much further I want to go in my career. So I'd just like to encourage someone, even if you're in a, where you're feeling that you're starting with your certificate 3, that is your first step. Take it with pride and your head held high and do the journey. You put in the work, you'll get there. I know I'm reaping the fruits of the hard work I've put in, and I'm happy that I'm where I am at, and I'm happy of the journey that God is going to take me ahead after this. So yeah, I'm really excited, but I have to remain focused.
Amazing. And just for someone out there who's looking at you as a registered nurse, and the message out there is that nursing has a lot of opportunities in Australia.
Yes.
So for a message out there to someone, would you encourage or would you recommend someone to study nursing?
100%. Nursing is one of those careers that are noble, and people will always get sick. I'm not praying for people to get unwell, but that is the way the world works. People will always get unwell. People will always need people to take care of them. So nursing is one of the biggest actually career in the world. So it's a very big opportunity for anyone who is passionate about doing nursing to get into nursing. And I'm going to assure you 100%, there are 101 opportunities out there. Whether you want to become a nurse manager, whether you want to become a surgical nurse in the wards there, or any type of nurse that is they're available for us to utilize. But there are so many different opportunities for nursing students. So anyone who wants to get into it and they're quite passionate about it, it's good. It's a job that has different pathways that anyone can follow. And it will always, it's one of the job lists as well that are on the list for occupation list here in the government. So it's a good opportunity. It's recognized by the government, and they are always looking for nurses. So it's a very good opportunity for anyone who wants to go into a career that is rewarding as well. There is nothing as good as coming home feeling that, I did actually do CPR on somebody and they are breathing today because I did do that. I know God saves, but we also do the job, so which is good and fulfilling. So anyone who wants to do the nursing, welcome to the career. It's a good career, and it has a lot of opportunities for Kenyans or anyone else who is out there who is interested in doing it. Yeah.
Amazing. Now I want you, final remarks.
Yes.
Any word, anything that you like to share with us, in your career, you've progressed, you've seen that nursing is actually very rewarding. You've actually said that.
Yes.
You're actually a testament.
Yes.
And we are proud of you. We celebrate you. Keep going.
Thank
but
you.
What message do you have for our young people, also other people who are trying to get in the field, and also anything that you'd like to share with our audience tonight?
As a nurse, I would like to say that that nursing is very rewarding to anyone who's chosen that as a path and as a career. And please do it and start from the beginning if you're required to. Don't worry about, what people are saying out there. Just concentrate on your studies. Do the work. Please don't get in trouble with the government. Just do your job. And I'm sure when you come out there, you'll come and find opportunities and people like us waiting for you. We will be able to mentor you. I know there's a lot of, mates about nursing eating their own young ones, but we are there and we are Kenyans who are waiting for the other nurses who are coming out, and we are ready to hold hands. And I'm proud to say that most of the nurses out here are bosses and they're managers, which is something also for our Kenyan community to look forward to, that you come to a job and you find bosses that are same as you, and that have put in the work and that are encouraging the young people to study and work hard and become the best people in this community. I think very soon we will have a community that is full of, career-driven Kenyans, and the government is going, to recognize that we are forced to reckon with, that we are nurses that are committed, diligent, and are doing the work and saving lives as well. So yeah, anyone who wants to come in, please come in. Anyone who would like advice, we are more than open. I'm there for any young person, any aged person, because I went there as a mature student, and I am ready to advise anybody who wants to follow the pathway in nursing. Yes.
Amazing. We want to say thank you so much, Nancy, for creating the time.
Yes.
And also we want to say thank you to your family for allowing you to be here with us today.
Yes.
And we wish you the very, very best as you progress in this career. And we are looking forward, to seeing you mentor other young people. And if anyone wants to maybe get a hold of you, is there somewhere they can get a hold of Nancy just to ask questions about nursing career or anything to do with nursing? Is there anything that they can get a hold of you?
Yes. Anyone can call me or through Peter, through The Connect, and I'm sure Peter.
Are you on socials, maybe? Are you on social media?
I'm on social
Facebook,
media. Yes, I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook as Nancy Gachunji. And if you message me, I'm more than happy to, to always reply. I'm available.
Amazing, but only career questions, because I know the husband will be there watching. Thank you so much, Nancy.
Thank you so much.
It has been just a great interview, and we hope to see you at the top. Let's meet at the top.
Yes.
God bless, and we shall see you guys. Thank you for watching, and we shall see you on the next one.
Thank you, Peter, for having me.
Thank you. Nancy.